There's an old Sicilian saying that I came across years and years ago, and that is the fish stinks from the head down. The problem is that whatever their beliefs, their habits, their core values are, will permeate all the way through the entire business, and you'll see them reflected in the behaviors of the staff. Hey there, everybody. It's Robert C. Brown here. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are in the world today. I've got a really great friend with me today. It's Michael Brook, and we're having a little discussion about some of the ideas we've got to help people out there, not just in their life, but with their business, and really just create the life and the business that they want. And Michael and I do things in very, very different ways, but there is a real distinct overlap, which has created a lot of discussions and has created a friendship. And we just wanted to explore that some more, because we have a lot of fun doing that sort of stuff, and we wanted to sort of open it up and share it with you too, in the hope that you can get some great value from today's conversation. So this is today's coffee with Robert and Michael. Hope you've got your coffee. Hope you're ready. I'm going to ask Michael. Michael, can you just introduce yourself properly and let everybody know what your website address is, and tell them a little bit about exactly what you do for people?
Yeah, thank you, Robert. Thank you. Well, yeah, I'm Michael. I'm Michael Brook. And for those of you who are interested in the geography of things, I'm up here on the Norfolk coast. Now, as friends, we couldn't be further apart in many ways, because as we know, you're down there in the deep south, and I'm up here on the Norfolk coast. So with there's some miles there, but with modern technology, it doesn't seem to matter. Now, the way that I help people principally is, in a nutshell, I help people like us, people you might want to think about people in the helping professions, people who maybe are in the expert space, if you like that sort of expression. And I help people create their own online course or online product or online content, but so they can get their expertise out there online, really. That's exactly what I do. What about yourself? How should we explain what you do, Robert?
Interesting. I mean, I tend to work with entrepreneurs, as you know, but for the benefit of everybody who's listening in today, I tend to work with entrepreneurs because I've got a real sort of passion and connection with these people. I know what it's like to be a business owner. I know what it's like to find yourself kind of frustrated with lack of budget or whatever it might be that's holding you back. You'll have a great business idea. You've got lots of passion and enthusiasm, and you keep banging the door and you just can't get it. So I've got a real connection with those types of people, but I come very much more from a personal development angle, because there's an old Sicilian saying that I came across years and years ago, and that is the fish stinks from the head down. And though I love to work in business development, I always take it through an angle of kind of personal development, because every business has got something behind it. The initial thought idea came from one person, maybe sometimes two. But the problem is that whatever their beliefs, their habits, their core values are, will permeate all the way through the entire business, and you'll see them reflected in the behaviors of the staff and the performance overall of that business. So I'm really, really passionate about the fact that I see different results with different people sharing the same knowledge just based on how they're wired between these two ears. And I've dedicated my life to working with that side of things a little bit more. But the end goal for both of us, as I see it, is exactly the same. We're looking to help people create a better life and a better business according to their own agenda, wants, needs, and desires, rather than living their life mapped out by somebody else's desires, wants, needs, and agendas.
And that's so true. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the problem with the email, isn't it? You open you get up in the morning, you switch your computer on. First thing you see is your email, and all of a sudden you're starting to live your life according to somebody else's agenda, because they want a piece of you, and you have to respond to their email or their phone call or their text message. And that's such a powerful thing, Robert, to be able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually taken that point a little bit further. Have you ever noticed that if you're in the supermarket and somebody's iPhone goes off, it's like the gunfight at the OK Corral. Everybody reaches, don't they?
It's mine, it's
absolutely
mine.
hilarious.
And then they're disappointed when it isn't theirs.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's fascinating.
Absolutely right.
I would really like you, because we've been having loads and loads of chats, and I'm fascinated with what you do. Is there any way you can kind of peel a few of the layers away and let the people that are tuning into this or listening to the podcast know a little bit more about exactly what you do for people and what the actual outcome is? You know, kind of a little bit of a step-by-step, so they understand it a little clearer.
Yeah, sure. So, interestingly, in the end, although mine looks like business development, and the output from what I do with people is usually, hopefully, an online course or an online product that is a reflection of what they've been doing maybe for the last few years, or what they're passionate about. Maybe they haven't been doing it for a long time, but it's what they're passionate about. So the output is usually an online course that they can make money from, but more importantly, transform their business and transform their life. So that's the output. And because having an online course or an online product or online content means that, well, to avoid the cliche, but you can't in a way, you know, it enables you to stop or reduce the amount of time you're swapping your time for money. It allows you to reach more people, maybe even reach, and this is another cliche, and maybe even reach people whilst you sleep, rest, holiday, or whatever, because you're reaching people at the other side of the planet. It enables you to live a different lifestyle and maybe continue doing what you do, but do it in a slightly different way. Now, the way I help people to do that is in three ways. I either literally do it with them or for them in my Done For You program, which is where typically maybe a coach, a trainer, a consultant, a therapist, or an entrepreneur, Robert, would come to me and say, I've got this course, I've got this product in my brain, it's got to come out, I've got to birth this thing. And together we help them, we get the concept right, we get the design right, I then film it for them, I edit it for them, and I take it to market for them, get them to publish it. So that's one way I do that. And one of the reasons why people want me to do it that way is because sometimes their mindset has got in the way. Sometimes they felt a bit overwhelmed, you know, they've got years and years of experience, of knowledge and know-how and expertise. And when they come to try and put it on the page or create that course, it looks daunting. It looks too big. And so sometimes I help them by helping to crystallize that idea and get it out there, because they're overwhelmed, which leads to procrastination. But interestingly enough, that's all come from a great place, because often the overwhelm and the procrastination has actually been born out of perfectionism. And how can you knock that? Wanting to get it right.
It's great.
But nonetheless, it is a bit of a problem that, you know, people want it to be too good, too perfect, which means that they get overwhelmed, which means that they start to put it off. And that's a natural mental transition, if you like.
Yeah.
So another way I help people is I mentor them through the process. I've got a mentorship program, which I call my accelerator, which is less intrusive. It's a bit more of a distance, but you spend time with me every month and I help you through the process. And then I also have my academy, which is a membership program, which is less expensive, of course. There's tons of information, but nonetheless, the academy will take you from having no online course at all to being able to take a course to market. So those are the three ways I help people, and that's what I do for them. And you know what? I love doing it because I do see such transformation in people's lives and businesses.
That's the payoff.
So we're not dissimilar. We just we look at it in a bit different way.
Yeah, exactly right. It was really weird. I was going to make a couple of comments and raise a question, and you went and answered that one before I raised it, and that was about have you got a place where if somebody wants to structure a course but they don't know where to start and everything else, that you can literally give them a hand-holding service where you go through. So it's really cool that you said that. But there was another point, you know, about the fact that there's sometimes they get overwhelmed. And what I get a sense of with a lot of people is they seriously undervalue what they're offering people. So therefore, what they do, rather than just putting something out there that's concise to the point and get somebody a result, they throw everything in the kitchen sink in, try to justify the price. And that's why they get overwhelmed, because they're undervaluing themselves and they feel they have to give it all in there. And of course, the problem with all of that, I'm sure you'd agree, is you lose structure. And when that's the case, when you throw that much in, not only is it overwhelming for the person that's putting it together, geez, it's overwhelming for the person trying to go through it as well. And that's when you tend to find that a lot of people will drop out early and just not go through to the end and get the result, which is not what anybody wants. So it's cool you covered all of that.
No, that's so true, Robert. Absolutely so true. And one of the things that I find when people are wanting to create their online course, because they do, most of the time when people want to create an online course, they've been doing what they do for a long time. So they're really good at it. You know, they're really good. And they're in this state that the psychologists call flow. When they're actually delivering their own content, they're in flow, and that means that they're pretty unconscious of what they're doing. And it's an amazing experience for people that are present. But when you're delivering your content online, those people are never there. And whilst when we're with our customers, when we're with our clients, well, whatever we want to call them, we know they're confused as soon as they know that they're confused. So we can adjust, we can adapt, we can change our message to help them through it. But when you're creating an online program, that can't happen. So in exactly what you're saying there is the importance when you're creating an online program and getting any message out there is in the structure. Because you need to be able to structure it. You need to be able to sequence it. And interestingly, you need to be able to systematize it. Because if you can't structure it, sequence it, and systematize it, when people watch it, even though you're totally congruent, you're in flow, when people are watching it, they can sometimes get a bit confused, a bit disoriented, especially if there's so much. That's why keep it simple, I think, is your message. Don't give everybody everything.
Totally. Focus on the outcome, focus on the result, and don't get caught up in anything else, because that's, these days, again, I'm sure you'd agree, everywhere you look, there's information, and information seriously undervalued. Well, I say undervalued, but it's come down in value, because there's so much of it, and because you can nearly tap anything you can think of into Uncle Google and get the answer in seconds. I can remember when my kids were growing up, they would come to me with all these questions I had no answers to, and I'd have to go the long-winded way around trying to find out the answers. These days you can just say, go Google it, and what it means is it's great for everybody because everything's easily accessible, but it also means it's not enough anymore to just sell people information. You've got to sell them transformation. You've got to sell them something that delivers a result, a desired result at the end of it all. And that's why I love what you were saying. And I mustn't make this sound like I don't know what you were saying, because we've discussed it before, but I know for the people that are on here hearing this for the first time, they're going to be pretty impressed with that, because it's the fact that you're covering all the bases. You're kind of you're kind of filling every gap that anybody could possibly pick in the plan, as it were, and no matter where they are along various stages along their path, there's something there with you where you've thought about that, and that's really cool. I'd like to talk about some of the stuff I do in a minute, but before we move on, I think it'd be really important for if you wouldn't mind, to share some details of where people can go if they want to find out more about Michael Brook, what Michael Brook is offering, and how to get in the loop with you and start to enjoy working with you in some capacity.
Yep, I'm very easy to get hold of. My website is myexpertiseonline.uk, myexpertiseonline.uk, and all the information is there. And of course, we can put my mobile number up on the screen. When we do this, but it's 07977 493 774. And of course, you can email me at michael@myexpertiseonline.uk. So very easy to find. And thankfully, there's not too many people do what I do. So I'm quite easy to find as well.
Cool. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people.
So I'm intrigued, Robert.
Yeah, carry on.
We do similar stuff. We do similar stuff with similar people. Yeah. And I think people have got an idea now of how I get the best out of people, either, you know, by doing it for them or mentoring them or providing them information on my membership program. What's the best way to work with you, or how do you get the best out of people that you work with?
Essentially,
what's the process? How do I come to you and get the best out of you?
Yeah, well, the thing is with me, what I tend to do is I focus again on a little bit more on the other side, a little bit more on, I take it away from the information, the programs, and what I try and do is reprogram the person. Yeah. Because as I said right at the outset, I've always been fascinated for many, many years, as long as I can remember, honestly, by the fact that, you know, two individuals can have access to the same information and have entirely different results. One can go out there and make a fortune if it's a financial product, or be successful in whatever capacity and get the result they're looking for. And the other one does nothing or fails miserably and just gives up. And what's the difference? The difference is quite clearly not in the information, right? The difference has got to be here. So it's kind of been my life's work. I'm absolutely fascinated by human potential and peak performance. And if you can get a human stroke spiritual being into a place, and I do talk a lot about spiritual stuff as well, because we are spiritual beings. And depending on where you are on your path, you're likely to agree with me or fight me on that. I don't care. It's a matter of timing, as it is with everything. But you come to realize at a certain stage in life that we are, in fact, spiritual beings having a human experience and not the other way around. And that's tremendously comforting and very enabling when you come to that realization as well. So what I tend to do, I have a system where I work with people to overcome their habits, the self-sabotaging habits, the low self-esteem, the negative thoughts, the negative beliefs they've got about themselves. I help them to remove these things and reprogram themselves with more supportive, positive, affirming, and motivating belief systems. Now, the thing is, this, like everything in life, takes conscious effort. It takes work at first. And the problem for most people, and why most people don't get the success they're looking for, is because they've been living a certain way for their entire life, developing bad habits that are sabotaging and stealing their future and everything else you want to throw out there to describe the situation. But you get the drift. And then they expect to clear that all up in 24 hours by saying a few affirmations and doing a little bit of visualization and this and that and the other and meditating. Well, here's the rub. That ain't the case. When you've been doing something like that your entire life, you need to absolutely discipline yourself to change the way you're thinking and the way that you're acting over a period of 30 to 90 days religiously, which takes conscious effort at first, but then over that period of time, and I say 30 to 90 days because it will take longer if you've had a deep-seated negative belief about yourself that's been there your entire life. That might take longer to shift. But eventually that conscious effort goes into your subconscious and becomes your default setting. It's your new programming, your new default setting. So it's more about now, not who you're trying to be anymore, but who you in fact are. That's when it's like a marriage, you know, it's kind of anything, a business, a marriage. You're going to get the best out of a business and marriage and stuff if you can stick at it, go through the early years when it's rocky, and then you find there's far less effort later on, and you're getting the cream. It's lovely. It's just, you get the joy every single day with very little effort. It's the same with this. Once it goes from conscious to subconscious, it'll just feel like everything's going with the flow and you're in line with what you're supposed to do. And a lot of what I teach as well is for people to find their true purpose, to identify themselves and reconnect themselves with who they were when they were a little kid. What really got them excited before they got married, had children, grandchildren, whatever it is that deflected everything away from what they are, who they are, what they want. Because you can lose identification with all of that kind of stuff that comes with life as you move through it. And what I do, my work is all about reconnecting people with their passion, getting them on side with that, because once you do that, you find that all of the logical thinking stuff that confuses everything is out of the way, and you act on gut instinct, and you're acting from your true essence, who you really are. And when that happens, you don't get the problems that you would associate with, people who are just setting up business to go out and make money. Why? Because you've got access to a higher intelligence. You're connected to a higher intelligence than that which creates the problems that you get when you're doing everything on a logical level. Now, I'm really, really sorry up front if that all sounds a bit deep and I'm touching on woo-woo, or it sounds like I am. It really isn't. And as you get into it, you become more and more absorbed and convinced by it as you see the results. So that's what I'm all about. I could give you the long answer, but that was the short one.
So, if I want to work with you, how do we work together? What happens? What's the process of working together with you?
Currently, the best way to work with me is I like everybody to kind of come to me, sample what I'm doing, get a flavour of it, and if they like it, then we take things a little bit further. So right now, people can come along to robertcbrown.online, and they can download my free report, Limitless, which is a personal transformation report, and it talks a lot about these, self-sabotaging beliefs, how to overcome them, the natural laws, everything that you can do, and even just the application of that free report can make some changes pretty quickly for people. And then I also have a 6-week online coaching course, which is, again, a personal transformation program. Over 6 weeks, everything's delivered online with weekly Q&As and ongoing coaching as well. And that's called The Push. And they can go, now this is a new link, so I'm going to try and memorize this now. It should be The Push.
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm not sure actually. So I'll tell you what I'll do. Thanks for getting me out of that. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put a link underneath this video for anybody that wants to go and check out The Push, because it's in a subdomain. And I don't remember what the link is very well. So
they're always
you can find out more there. And there's a webinar. So the best thing that it's about a 56-minute webinar. Go on to the webinar, watch the webinar. You get lots of life-changing stuff that you can put into action right now. And at the end of it, there's an option to find out more about working with me and get involved if you wish to do that anyway. So, there it is.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And it sounds so exciting. It just, what you say, it sounds a bit woo, but actually it's just about who we are, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's about our essence. It's about the very core of who we are. Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. Sounds brilliant. Sounds amazing.
It's about that. I don't know if my hands are showing. Okay, so if I were to say to you, if you were to clasp your hands like that, if you can do that, Michael, can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that's obviously the natural way you would do that. Yeah. Now, if you take them apart and then you put them together again with the other thumb over the top.
That's right.
Hot, doesn't it?
Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible.
Now, I guarantee, though, if you were to leave that way for 5 minutes and then go away and do it again, that will feel kind of normal. And that's what it's like with the comfort zone. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a case of just stepping outside, learning to feel comfortable with feeling uncomfortable for a little while until uncomfortable becomes the new comfortable. But it's a more supportive, comfortable. So that's what it's all about anyway.
It's funny, you should mention the comfort zone, because obviously I've worked with a lot of people over a lot of years doing similar sort of thing, and I've never found anybody comfortable that's in this place they call the comfortable zone. In fact, most of them are in a world of pain. They're not comfortable at all. They're just stuck.
Yeah. But unfortunately as well, for a lot of people, pain becomes a habit and it becomes an addiction. You know, and there are an awful lot of people out there, and I'm sure you know this as well, that marketers are very aware of this, is the fact that there are an awful lot of people out there who aren't motivated by the promise of gain. They're not motivated by setting great goals and the potential for a future. They're actually motivated by pain, fear of loss, things like that. In fact, for most people, that's a greater motivator than gain. You know, so that's a real habit that needs to be broken with an awful lot of people, the majority of people that I work with, definitely. So, it's all exciting stuff. And I know this isn't going to be the first time we do this, because we've got oodles and oodles of stuff to talk about beyond where we've been today. But
tons of stuff.
Yeah. So hopefully today's little session has given people a flavour of who you are, who I am. And hopefully, you know, if they're interested to find out more, they'll do that. And if they're interested enough to pop by and check us out more often when we're having our little chats, hopefully they'll do that too, and get to know us a little bit better in due course.
Well, that's right. And like you, Robert, I don't expect anybody to jump in with both feet. And I know people who are wanting to transform their lives, and that usually happens through transforming their business. They want to dip the toe in the water. They want to find out how that works for them, what their opportunities are, and how it can change their life. And if you want to step by myexpertiseonline.uk, there's lots of opportunities for, you know, I've got loads of free stuff on there, you know, lots of free material they can start. In fact, I've got a program called the Quick Start program, which they'll find on my blog there, which can, you know, they can get quite a lot of information just by going through that Quick Start program and starting to see how it could work for them.
Brilliant. No, it's great. So I'd recommend to anybody who's watching this video, get over there, take a look at what Michael's doing. You're going to find something there, I'm absolutely sure, that can help you. And if you're struggling with yourself, if it's your inner barriers and you know that you're probably your own worst enemy when it comes to building your business and moving forward and creating the life and business of your dreams, then come over and check my website out at robertcbrown.online and get that free report. I'd be happy to give that to you, and it'd be lovely to see you there. So I don't know if you've got anything else to say, Michael. My coffee's just about done. I could use another one. So I'm going to wrap it up unless there's something else you want to add.
No, there is no more that I want to add, apart from after this, we're going to be having a long conversation about how I can get you in front of my audience at the My Expertise Online Academy, because they need what you've got to offer. So that's what we'll be talking about next. So Brilliant. Thanks very much from my side.
Yeah, lovely. And me too. Thanks very much, Michael. We must do this again, my friend, and we surely will. Thanks a lot to everybody who's been watching today, and we'll catch you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.